Hello, hello. Welcome to A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love. I'm Tomás Garza, your host, and welcome back to the show here on Enlightened World Network. I really want to just quickly thank all of you for joining me here today. Now, whether you're catching me live or on the replay, we've had some really interesting dialogue, haven't we, in the last couple of weeks? A lot of really wonderful comments and questions. And as always, I invite and welcome your comments and questions today. So, as you may know, we're in the workbook for students here in A Course in Miracles. And if you're just catching this live stream for the first time, or you caught it maybe earlier this year, we started in January, and you're coming back, welcome. It doesn't matter where you are in the workbook, nor does it even make any difference if you are doing it at all. You don't need to be a student of A Course in Miracles to get a tremendous amount out of this live stream. So how can I say that? Well, A Course in Miracles presents universal spirituality with the emphasis on universal. These ideas that we talk about apply to every living thing. No exceptions. So no matter what your path is, you may benefit tremendously. In fact, you stand to gain everything by tuning in today. There's a reason why you're here. So I invite you to ask your inner teacher what that reason may be, and to listen today, to tune in to this live with an open mind, with an open heart, because you're here for a reason. So what will that be? And what I'd like to know is, what are you going to take from these next 15 to 20 minutes and apply to your life right now, today? That's what I want to know, because spirituality is all about application. It's not about rote memorization at all, is it? It's not about blindly believing something just because somebody said it from the pulpit when you were 9 and were dragged kicking and screaming into church by your parents, and you sat there doodling, bored, wondering what everybody was talking about. I mean, maybe you went to that kind of a church service last week, and you're in your 40s or 50s and you were wondering the same thing. I don't know. But we're not asked to blindly accept something just because someone wrote it down and it's still in writing, despite having been edited severely and chopped and group thought for a couple thousand years minimum. Just saying. You can draw your own conclusions with that. The beauty is we have the power of choice right here, right now. So I invite you to tap in to that power of choice, which you've never lost, even though you might want to throw it away. Sometimes we all have our moments, right? We're all in the same boat here, so to speak. So let's proceed onward. We have finished a review period in the workbook, and now we're on to lesson 151, which is very powerful. And the actual text in the book, in the workbook, goes through and talks about this idea at length. So there's a lot that we can say about this. And what I'd like to have you do, again, is listen with an open mind here. And I'm bringing up the comments and questions here. So if you've got them, please send them here and let us know you're tuning in today, and say hello. The idea for today, lesson 151, is all things are echoes of the voice for God. So let's unpack this. Yeah, all things are echoes of the voice for God. This means all things. It's inclusive. Everything that we see, everything that we hear, everything that we touch, smell, feel, think about, all things are echoes of the voice for God. Now, what is the voice for God? Okay, this is some language that one sees in A Course in Miracles. The voice for God, quite simply, is the Holy Spirit. So if you're familiar, if you were raised in a Judeo-Christian tradition, that was always something that, to me, growing up, now I was raised in two rather fundamentalist Christian churches, which I left both times. That's why I'm here where I am today, which is a whole nother story. However, I was always confused about what the Holy Spirit was, who or what it is was. That never, when I was growing up, made much sense. It does in A Course in Miracles to me, and perhaps you will count yourself in the same position here. The voice for God is the Holy Spirit, speaks for God. Now, God is a direct communicator. But we, as the sons of God, communicate directly with God, but we need to get to a place where we allow that to happen. See, identifying with the ego, we've disallowed this. We now see ourselves as cut off, as separate entities, and that is, if you're a Buddhist, samsara. It's hell, according to A Course in Miracles, and that it couldn't be more accurate. Really, hell's not a place, it's the condition of separation. It's a different definition, isn't it? Yeah. You may find that this one resonates with you tremendously, like a lot more than the fire and brimstone that you may have been raised with, the ashes and cinders, or a cold hell, or a puddle of excrement with people standing around drinking coffee, being bidden to, when the coffee breaks over, put their heads back in. You know, you may have heard that one. We have all kinds of ideas about it. And what's going on here that lesson 151 wants us to consider is we take everything that the body and the body's senses report to us as literal truth. We believe it without questioning. We believe without questioning that this is a separate thing called a shirt, that this is a body, that this is a man or a woman, if you're a woman, that this is a human being. Even that, yeah. We believe everything that our sight reports to us, that the body's eyes report to us. We believe everything that we hear, to our massive detriment, correct? Yeah, we don't have to look too far to see that that's definitely the case. We believe everything that the body reports to us. We take it to be the literal, unequivocal truth, and then we black out everything else as untrue, or as we like to say, ethereal, woo-woo, ephemeral, non-existent. Yet we know in our heart of hearts we can intuit and feel that what we're actively denying might in fact be the truth about ourselves. We sense, and the commentary on lesson 151 tells us this. So you could count this as a reaffirmation or a confirmation of what you already know. It tells us that the ego doubts itself, of course. It questions its own existence, so being fear itself, it attempts to distract and divert us from our quest to unmask it, from our quest for true happiness. It fears that we'll discover that it's completely false and non-existent and abandoned it forever. The ego fears that we'll just leave it behind, which ultimately we will. The question for us is, when will we do that? Will it be in 15 minutes? Will it be right now? Will it be in 15 years or 15,000 years, multiple lifetimes? I don't know. It's a question for us right now. So the ego wants us to believe in its existence, does not wish for us to doubt it. It does not wish for us to question it. So A Course in Miracles, as well as Buddhism, as well as Advaita Vedanta, as well as multiple other spiritual traditions on this planet, invite us to sit in this doubt. In many, many schools of Buddhism, it's called the Great Doubt. Course in Miracles invites us to sit in this questioning mentality, in this questioning mode, questioning the reality of everything that the ego reports to us, everything that it says to us or shouts at us. It can get very loud, can't it? Every single thing. So we sit in the Great Doubt and raise to question everything, absolutely everything, the foundations of everything that we now believe. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's deep. Of course it is, right? You're here, you're ready for this level of depth. Deep down, we can all deny it all we want. You're watching Enlightened World Network. You're ready for this depth. Because, you know, I'm not going to be just talking about cleaning my pool or something like that. You know, I'm here to deliver this message. And it's a serious message, isn't it? But we should have some fun with it. I mean, spirituality is very much an adult endeavor, is it not? Because as we sit and we question the foundations of everything that we've been taught, everything that our senses seem to report to us as true, that we take as, I'm going to use this term, the gospel truth. Yeah. We believe it all without questioning. So what happens when we begin to question? Well, we might become afraid. Might freak us out, right? That's absolutely 100% normal. And it's great if you're a little freaked out. It's the ego that's freaked out. That's all. It's the ego is not an opponent for us in any way, shape, or form. I mean, we might be tempted to perceive it as such, but it's not. It's just a mistake. It's an idea about who we are that we can choose to abandon. We can choose to sit in the Great Doubt, call it to question, and we could choose to listen to another voice instead. Enter what A Course in Miracles refers to as the voice for God, the Holy Spirit. This could be your guides. Your guide could be a human teacher for you, could be a non-human teacher for you. And whatever that is, understand that the voice for God is a true teacher. It does not coerce. It does not shame or humiliate. It simply speaks to you of the truth of who you are and waits patiently for you to accept that, for you to allow that, for you to apply these ideas in your life. So what do we do? Well, we question, first of all, the foundations of everything that we currently believe. If we find them lacking or untrue or unhelpful, the guide for that is, does it make us happy or unhappy? Does it stress us out? Well, if it deep down stresses us out, we know what to do. But this is where forgiveness practice comes in. This is where prayer comes in. This is where releasing things comes in. We're releasing what no longer serves us, and we're choosing to listen to a different voice. Now, the Course tells us that the Holy Spirit will reinterpret everything for us. The entire world, everything we see, will now become the raw material for awakening. It will become an echo of the voice for God. The way that I'm currently experiencing this in my own journey may be something that you can relate to. So let me just share, and I invite you to consider this as well, that everything that appears to be stressful or hurtful or negative is an opportunity for us to forgive. True forgiveness, as we've talked about here on the live stream, true forgiveness as it's practiced and presented in A Course in Miracles, all right, which helps us to clear our unconscious guilt and thoughts of fear. All right? It's an opportunity for us to, in the present moment, forgive, to let go, to release. In other words, to choose love, to choose miracle-mindedness. Anything that we see that's beautiful is also a symbol. You could choose to look at it as symbolic of our true strength as Christ, as the Son of God, who we really are, as self with a capital S. We could choose to see it as symbolic of our own love, of our limitlessness, of our abundance, true abundance, power, not power over others, but love, the ultimate authority. This is a way of thinking that we can choose to adopt. Now, it does take time to adopt it. When we see ourselves as abundant, as joyful, we can very easily give thanks and sit in a state of mind, a place of gratitude, which is very helpful, very beautiful, and very beneficial for us. So if we're actively giving thanks, it's not a negative judgment, is it? It kind of blocks out the voice that wants us to condemn somebody. I mean, granted, that voice will still come up, but this is where A Course in Miracles, with its workbook exercises, this is where meditation practice, mindfulness practice, all come in world spirituality, is the moment-to-moment awareness of what's going on in our minds and what we're doing with that. What we're doing, how we're behaving, how we're reacting to all of these many stimuli. Anything. There are multiple opportunities all around us to forgive. And there are multiple opportunities all around us to give thanks. Our mind is powerful. You are as the Son of God. In other words, the Christ, which is all of us. All right. This is something that is emphasized in A Course in Miracles that's not necessarily presented to us in traditional society, is it? In fundamentalist churches, in different spiritual traditions, it's not necessarily presented as this. But we are one with God, the thought of God, the extension of God, the extension of love, love itself. We are love itself. It's the same. So we open ourselves to this experience. Spirituality is a reawakening. We're not really going anywhere because who we are has never left us. It has always been. We're simply allowing ourselves to accept the truth about ourselves. We're first sitting in the great doubt, raising to question all of the ego's witnesses against us, because they're always against us. And we're listening to the voice for God. We're listening to our higher self. We're listening to our guides, our teacher, our inner teacher. That's what I invite you to get in touch with today. Today, if you know who that is today. If you're searching for that, then I invite you to continue the search, to continue to ask. And you will find, because it's all of our destiny to do that. All right. So, hello, Elaine, how are you? Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm glad you appreciate the message today. This is something that is very, very powerful. And I invite you, if you're catching this here live or on the replay, if there are questions related to today's material, feel welcome to leave them in the comment thread here, and I will get to them during the day. I always do that. And there's a lot of material available online and in print. Now, A Course in Miracles lends itself perfectly well to study groups, which occur all over the world, both virtual and in person. Well, if you're able to do it in person right now, that's a great way not only to meet people, but to study and practice and process this material. And online, there are a number of really wonderful, very, very helpful commentaries out there that I invite you to read and take advantage of if you want more information about any of these ideas. What we're doing is we're proceeding through the workbook here on this live stream. Today is lesson 151. Tomorrow it will be 152, and we'll just continue one a day. And if any of this material speaks to you, A Course in Miracles can be a very beneficial tool for anyone's spiritual practice. And the beauty of it is it's a self-study curriculum, so you can use it either on its own as a complete practice, which it is, or you can use it to shed some light on your current practice, perhaps to see things in a different way, to enhance and augment your understanding of your own walk and who you really, truly are. So I invite you to get in touch with that today. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and I will be back here tomorrow.